year determine the success in the coming year.
The decision you take
The decision you take
at the end of a
in
financial year.
financial
This
year
is a financial
for
year now.
financial year end, yes,
Okay.
or determine the success in the coming year.
Really? We want to know more on that. How? How is that possible?
Now, if you look at it basically, it's not about closing account, it's about closing gaps and identifying new opportunities.
Okay.
Now, like you've said, 2025 have been faced with a lot of challenges, like inflationary pressure, which is coming down now, high interest rates, FX volatility, energy cost. And you'll agree with me that energy cost is the primary cost driver. The moment there's a surge in energy cost, it affects every other thing that we do in our daily lives. So most of us, the income we earn is not absorbing or is not commensurate with our daily expenses. So every household, companies are face several challenges. So I think it's now very important now for people to now look at those gaps that exist, take decision on them, see the opportunities that is about to come, and see how they can annex those opportunities. So it's not a time, like I've said, the decision you take now determine the success
The
of.
success of 2026.
Now, people need to differentiate between expenses that are discretional and expenses that are necessary.
When you say discretional, what do you mean in this context?
Okay, whether we like it or not, there are some expenses that are key to us. You understand?
Okay.
For example, you that work, transport is a key expense. You need to pay your rent. But when you say you want to go on vacation now, it's a personal decision. That vacation that you want to go for in December, of what value is it going to bring back to you?
Financial value?
Yeah, financial value. Because the reality is that we have to be strategic. For we are in a situation now that for every couple that you incur, that you spend, must be value driven or revenue focused. If I'm going for vacation, let's say for example, I'm going to one private beach in Lagos, I'm going to spend like a week and I'm going to spend like 3 million naira on that particular vacation
For 30 December.
for 30 December. I should be sure that the people that I'm going to meet there, I should be able to get businesses from them that will prepare opportunities for me in 2026.
Interesting.
But you see, people take decisions, but they don't weigh the options in terms of value.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes,
Do you understand my
I
point?
do.
Okay, they are bringing a show to Abuja. Probably maybe Davido is coming or one musician is coming, and you're going to spend a high big of money. Fine, it's good to have good memories. If you go there, is there a possibility that when you go there, you exchange card with somebody that will call for your service when it comes to 2026? So it's not just about spending. If you spend, you also need to think of how can it also come back. And that's where the aspect of value comes to play. So that's why I said year end is not about closing the account, it's about closing the gap and seeing new opportunities that are bound come 2020, 2026. So people need to be very strategic in terms of the kind of decisions that they take now so that they have a good success come 2026. But somebody is my friend is going there does not mean I should go there when I don't know his source of income. But generally now, a lot of us have bills to pay. You have to pay school fees, you have to pay house rent. So if you are not working with a friend that where he works, he gets upfront allowance in January 2nd, you are not on the same page.
At all.
You understand? Definitely, he can afford to spend whatever he has now because he know that by January 2nd, he's going to get credit alert on his phone. Then he can meet up with daily expense.
True.
But you are not in that position and you are going with that kind of friend. No, you are already deceiving yourself. So the reality is that we need to be realistic with our expectations. But some of us, we don't. We just move with the crowd. And at the end of the day, that 30 December will dirty you in January. Remember, most organizations will pay salary very early, probably before Christmas, pay 13 months. January is a very long month.
We call it 99 days.
It's a very long month. So which means that before you earn a new salary, it's going to take a longer period than what it is as normal. So people need to have a buffer. You understand? A buffer, a contingency plan. That when it comes January, you have something to start with.
For what you've said now, it's as if you're saying people should focus on their wants,
Oh, no, yeah, exactly.
not their needs.
Not their needs. What is
essential.
essential to them
Okay.
at the moment now
Okay.
that affect their daily lives?
Interesting. So, what is the biggest challenge that you think businesses or individuals has faced this 2025 as we're about to wrap up the year? Perhaps what they should do, what they will do better to make sure they have a cleaner 2026 in terms of financially?
Fair, it's just about the inflation that happened and which is actually coming down. Like I said, energy cost is a primary cost driver. Once there's a surge in energy cost, it affects every other things that we do. You understand? So basically, inflationary pressure, FX volatility, FX volatility, actually yes. Then, like I've said, energy costs. So all these actually affect so many businesses. So it's not coming to 2020. Like that is what I've said. We need to cut expenses that are not essential. We need to be able to differentiate between essential
And no
expenses and
essential.
non-essential expenses and position ourselves well. People need to have this mindset that for every couple that I incur there must be value creation or revenue focus. Anytime I travel and I'm on the aircraft, even if I don't sit on the business class, even if it is economy, I make sure the next person sitting beside me get my card. Whatever it is, I'll make sure it gets my card before we're on board from the plane.
Interesting.
Because life is about information. What differentiates the rich and poor is information.
So let's talk more, sir. How what's the mistake you think people has made, or the mistake they usually made in reviewing their financial year at the end of the year? What mistake do they really make?
The reality is that people don't have documented financial plan.
Some people or everybody?
A lot. If I ask you seated there that do you have a personal budget, you tell me no.
I think I do.
You say so if we're sure you'll have said yes.
Yes.
So you don't. If I ask you now that as of today, from the 1st of December to today, can you give me an actual amount that you have actually spent? You don't have the figure.
Sincerely, I don't have it.
So it applies to everyone. You understand? People don't have personal budgets, and which is wrong. If you are thinking about 2026, you must have a realistic budget.
How does personal budget look like?
Personal budget in terms of what are your incomes? Where are you going to get your incomes from? From your salary, from other sources, from here, from that. What are those things you think you're going to spend money on? It gives you a proper guide. In fact, it's even good you have like a 3 budget. You have the best budget, the worst case scenario budget, and the base budget. So that at the end of the day, you can swing.
Give us a tips on how to get that done.
Yeah, you have to sit down, be realistic with yourself. Your salary is your key inflow, whether you like it or not. Then you now ask yourself another question. Is there any other places where you get money from? All those things will form your income stream or revenue lines. Then you now come to your expenditure. What are those essential expenditure that you incur on a daily basis? Rent is a key expenditure for the year. You are going to pay your children's school fees is a key expenditure. In terms of food, stocking the house, how much does it take you on a monthly basis? Routine maintenance of your house, how much does it take you? I need to take care of myself, do my cosmetic, I need to buy my cream, I need to do my hair. You have to put all those things in and you have to be realistic.
For a year.
For a year, you have to be realistic because it is about you. You should know yourself.
What about a situation? We know things go up. You can go to the market, a bag of rice.
That's what I said. You can have like 3 budgets.
Okay.
The best budget, a worst case scenario budget, and a base budget.
I don't want you to rush on this particular question. I want you to break it down again. How do we get it done? Say someone is earning 200,000
Per month?
per month.
Yeah.
Yes. You just your transportation. You spend 70,000.
Yeah.
Give us a break.
Now, if somebody earn, I won't say if I earn, if somebody earn 200,000 in a month, people are still earning 200,000 in this country.
Is it too big?
That's too poor.
Okay.
That's very poor.
Let's just work with that. There are people that earn lesser than that.
I know that how will people earn less than 200,000 in this economy? So something is fundamentally wrong.
Okay, let's just work with that amount.
Okay, for a 200,000 naira salary, now the question is the person need to ask himself: is getting that money from somewhere? Yes or no?
Yes.
So let's say he works probably a civil servant. He need to transport to the office. Now you that earn 200,000 per month, you should know that you must not take Uber or boat. You have to be taking join. Is it join and keke?
Along.
You have to take along. You understand? Because if you take Uber, you be rest assured you're going to use 80% of that money to service your transport for the.
It might not even be enough.
It might not even be enough. You see why I say people need to be realistic with their expectations. Transport is key. If I come to work, some of us we don't take breakfast at home. We take breakfast in the office because there's a canteen. Whether you like it or not, you're going to take breakfast, you're going to take lunch. It's going to cost you an amount. Now, to eat on the street of Abuja at Mama Put, whether you like it or not, you need a minimum of 2,500 naira to eat. You can't afford a restaurant. And let's assume you eat like 4,000 naira or 5,000 naira per day, and you spend 5,000 naira on transport. That is 10,000 times 22 days. So this is how you begin to project. And you have to stock the house too as well, whether you like it or not. Your rent, how much are you going to be saving from that 200,000 on a monthly basis for your rent? So you have to identify your expense categories that affect you, that are very essential. You now begin to appropriate that amount on them. So if the thing now went into deficit, that means that you have to go and look for other means. Now, okay, apart from my salary, what other things can I do to also earn income? Should I be selling bags to my colleagues in the office? We have people that does that. Should I be selling materials to my colleagues in the office, because I've seen office as a target area where I can actually sell some products. You understand? So those are things people will now start looking at. What is affecting a lot of people now is that our expenditure is more than our income, and that's why there's a complaint. That's why there are pressure for urgent 2K, urgent
It's no
3K.
longer urgent 2K, it's urgent 10K.
Okay, it's urgent 10K now going
2K
forward.
can't do anything
2K
again.
can't do anything again. So that is it. So that is why I say, the world is moving. You understand?
Yes.
Government, private sectors need to work on employee salaries, both at private and public sectors, so that people can actually match up or meet up with their daily needs. When people earn a lower amount, it prepares them to start doing things that are illegal at the end of the day. You understand?
True.
So people need to be probably remunerated so that they can actually meet their day-to-day expenses.
And by that way, you know what you can save
You know what you can actually
if
save.
there's anything left for you to save.
If there's anything left for you to save, right?
Okay, as we try to wrap up this conversation, what lessons should household take from financial experience in 2025? As a family, what lessons should we take as individual, knowing how 2025, let's say, is already almost gone? We have a few weeks to the end of the year. What
Yeah.
lessons should we take to help us do better come 2026?
Family need to understand themselves, husband and wife. And we have to be sincere and realistic to ourselves, because everything is eating on everybody. Women, when you tell them you don't have money, they hardly believe. So the wives, some women, okay, you say some. So some women need to believe their husband,
And some men should be truthful as
and
well.
some men should also be truthful so as well, in line with the current economic reality. You can't give what you don't have. That is just the way. And like I said, I concluded then, I said, it's both on personality and character. People need to be realistic with their expectation. You that you know that you can't afford a boat, why are you taking boats to the office? People taking keke and along, are they not human beings too as well? You understand? Most of us, we eat more than we can chew. We want to feel along. Life is about process. Success is not an accident. You understand? So we need just have to be sincere with ourselves. So the lesson is that we need some high level of tolerance. You understand? We need to tolerate ourselves, because truly there's hardship, but there's a great assurance that before this government end their tenure, that hardship will definitely be eradicated. And we have been seeing the signal. We've been seeing the drop in inflationary rates. We've been seeing the benefits of some of these reforms. And if we need to be sincere with ourselves, I think this is the first government since the era of democracy where in Christmas, in terms of transport, it's been fair.
Okay.
Go and check. Last year, now we are getting information that Dangote is reducing pump price in the price of PMS. So we expect the transport companies to also reduce, implement it here, to also, so that the society can naturally see that benefit. And I give kudos to this current government for that, and for a Muslim president. And during Christmas, a lot of things go in terms of transport is always is not as it was in those years, except if we just want to say the truth. So, and I also encourage the government to still keep working. There's still more work to be done, but I have greater assurance that we are going to work on a very smooth path at the end of the day.
Thank you very much, Mr. Afetus.
Thank you.
I'm sure you've learned from him. He's a financial expert, and that will help us do better financially come 2026. Of course, you don't overspend this year because he said something. He said, if you do dirty December without planning, you will not have dirty January. We don't want to have dirty January. Thank you very much, Mr. Hafiz. Let's take a quick break. I want to return. Good morning, Abuja continues.
This is Call the Police.
Live on the Unity Station, NTA Channel 5 Abuja.
The least you and I can do is to assist them by making security our primary concern.
To those who seek to disrupt the tranquility of the FCT, I send a clear and resolute message. My tenure will be marked by a zero-tolerance approach to all forms of crimes and criminality.
When there's a court order that restricts them to Mushin Abiola Stadium, they ought to have obeyed that law. But because the FCT Police Command were prepared, we were proactive, we were able to manage within the ambit of the law.
Security is everyone's business. This is why NTA Channel 5 Abuja is collaborating with the FCT Police Command in providing a weekly platform for up-to-date security check in the FCT. Join us for the real information every Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. on NTA Channel 5 Abuja, the Unity Station.
Welcome back to Good Morning Abuja. This is NTA Channel 5. How are you doing? Compliment of the season. I should say Happy Christmas. It's just a day to Christmas. Of course, we are still talking with okay, we have another guest now, and we're about to talk about something very interesting. We want to have conversation on managing family expectation and reunion at Christmas. Yes, we usually know how the expectation is. Everyone is expecting you to do this and that. Family members are sending you account numbers, how far, and all that. So we have a pastor in the building. His name is Pastor John Uket. And let me tell you who he is. He's a peace builder, community advocate, and he is an author. So he'll be having this conversation with us. I think he's the best person to talk about this as a pastor, as a man of God. Help me make welcome Pastor John. Welcome, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. Glad to be here. Compliment of the season.
Compliment of the season. It's just a day to Christmas. How are you feeling?
Yeah, so excited because tomorrow is Christmas Day. And you'd see just all over the world, everyone is expectant, looking forward to a day like tomorrow. Most importantly, expectations are very high.
Very high.
And I think that's why we just here. And then you may also wish to know tomorrow is also my birthday.
Wow!
Yes, I'm a Christmas baby.
Happy birthday in advance.
Thank you.
Your mom gave birth to you on Christmas Day.
You can say that
because you wanted
again.
to eat the Christmas rice and chicken.
I need to start my life there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And let me ask, how is the pressure on your part?
Well, certainly, I think on my part, I want to thank God for everything. He's been faithful because I've seen his faithfulness throughout the year. And just tomorrow, as I'll be adding another year to my life, I can say God has been faithful. Expectations met, goals attained, a whole lot fulfilled, prophecies fulfilled, and all the blessings all around. So I am grateful to God.
Interesting. Let's start with this very interesting question. Why do family expectations tend to be higher during this Christmas season?
Oh, thank you very much. As you were, that we are just in the last month of the year.
Exactly.
And going further, just few days into the end of the year. People have worked from January till now. Most of them, they have a reason to either define, have a self-appraisals. And that's why basically you see that expectations are high. And two, most persons also within their circle of influence, where they'll be able to like try to see, to gauge, those things that they've been able to do, those things they've been able to achieve, those things they've not been able to achieve. And two, also, every beginning of the year comes with a whole lot of New Year resolutions. Yeah, so it's a time for deeper reflections on those resolutions. So by these measures, one will be able to understand why the family expectations are high towards this time. And basically also it will interest you to know that these family expectations are unwritten rules, unwritten rules, norms,
Agreements.
norms or values that family are known with. And every family has a value, family values like that. And this differs across ethnic and social inclinations. And that's why you see expectations differs at this time of the year.
What actually makes this family reunion so intense and emotional during Christmas? You intend to see persons you've not seen before, and there's this thing some people do. They tend to bring arguments. What had happened before, let's say January, March. Once it's Christmas, everybody tend to bring it. We'll talk about this issue. It will resurface. Why is it like that?
Yeah, because one, there's one thing about the human nature. The human nature has its origination in families. That's why even the creation of humanity had to do with the family unit. And that is one of the things that have brought about my advocacy for a corresponding investment of government in families. Because today we are having so many ills in society because the family unit of our society has more or less been neglected. The sectors of our economy, the drivers of our economy have not so far taken the family unit as a key component in those sectors. And as such, we are having crisis. Are you talking about the security sector? What investment are we making in families to tackle or mitigate the challenges in the security sector? Because the family is everything, as it were. And basically, it's expected that at the end of the year, families should be able to come together to have a rethink. Most of them come together either in appreciation, some of them come together in worship, some of them come together to reinforce their belief system. Some of them, and this belief system range from protection, range from, family trademarks, as I may call it, and also where they need to chart new courses as a family. So, and that's why it's important at this point, reunion of families are very important. And also we witness a whole lot of large gatherings, basically that are family centered. And that makes it very key because this more or less tend to strengthen what our governing laws in Nigeria. For example, now the 99 Constitution of Nigeria also guarantee, make provision for the family unit, wherein, fundamental human rights are protected. And going further, that has to do with the essence of the family. Are you talking about the Child Right Act, even the United Nations Convention on the child right also talks about the importance of the family. Then when you also look at the African Charter on Humans and People, I think Article 18 of that also talks about the reason for family. So at this time, you have a convergence of family, despite the differences, despite their involvement in various endeavors, they come together for them to rethink, to rebuild, to re-energize and revamp more or less their foundation for better posterity.
Interesting. Very detailed explanation there. So, how do you think families can manage their finances because of the economic pressure? How can they manage their finances?
Oh, interesting. Expectations cannot be achieved without understanding the types of expectations that are needed. Because at this point, we have social expectations, we have financial expectations, and also we have traditional expectations, we have role expectations, we have personal expectations. So all these expectations, as it were, centered on finances. Because just like the Bible says, money answered all things. And like someone would say, it takes finance for romance, right?
Oh,
So
really?
yeah.
Wow,
So
that's
you
an interesting one.
yeah, so
It takes finance
finance
for
for romance.
romance.
Yeah.
Wow.
So now, one thing is this, at this time, there is a whole lot of financial pressure. And so it's expected. And that's why I tell people, if you want to have a better end of the year, start your plans from the other year, especially financial this thing. And why people are under financial pressure is because most of them don't have budget for a time like this. Once you don't have budget, because one, you see, there are the three norms that governs a family are centered on the last thing I'll say. The first norm is respect. The second norm is obedience. The third norm is contribution. So for you to be seen as very contributive in your family, one of the things that is needed is ability to have the wherewithal and mostly finances to meet the needs of people around. Is a time people give out, is a time people are looking up to people to attend to basic needs. And most importantly, is a time people want to complete their projects. So you need a whole lot of spending at this time. And that's why, in order to not to be on a disadvantaged position at this time, all that is needed is for you to have a budget ab initio, and that will guide you. And also, you should be able, in order not to be under financial pressure, communicate your imperfections, as it were.
What is available?
What is available? Respectfully communicate it. Let people know that it's not a time for you to go borrowing to impress anyone. It's not a time. You must not kill that cow this year. You can kill 10 next year if you budget well, if you plan well, and if things work well. Like before I came in here, somebody was like saying, "Oh, I've executed contract, have not been paid, and I need to travel home. I need to host some persons." And I was like, "Calm down. You are not dying anytime soon. You still have next year."
The year is
He's a
ending. You're
he's
not
a
ending.
contractor.
Your life is not
Yes,
ending.
he's a contractor. He say, contractors have not been paid, and so I say, come on, the year may end, but your life is not ending. So don't put yourself under financial pressure that will not necessitate you to start thinking, going overboard, to going extreme. No, in life you are not impressing anybody because you are in here. And so once people understand this, they won't be under any financial pressure at this time.
What practical financial steps can family take to avoid arguments? We know even during these reunions and family meetings, we know a lot of arguments pop up. How do you think they can overcome or handle this?
Okay, yeah, I think that drives the point solidly at this point because one, you need to know that the human nature cannot exist without conflict. No, conflict is basically part of existence. So I won't tell you I would drive it to a zero level. No, there must be that entropy of human existence at any point. That heat is expected. That makes them living, but basically how to avoid it in order not to have excessive reactions, in order not to have excessive argument or breaking of bottles, as one may call it in local parlance, you must understand one thing. You must understand one thing that, yes, you already have a plan, a financial plan, what the economists would call the scale of preference. Work with it. And then if you look at the Maslow theory, you discover that the needs of man is insatiable.
True.
You understand? So, and then the needs of man are, until you leave this earth, man will always be in want. And so, understanding that you must be able to have what is required of you so that you will not, for any reason, go into financial tussle, financial pitfall that will bring into your life or financial life a diminishing return. And you know that when the law of diminishing return sets in, it takes people a whole lot. It's a bigger problem, than expected. So people must be able to know that at this time, for example, now as a wife, you must understand your husband. He must not buy the Lamborghini now. He can buy it next year. Yeah. He must not take you to the best resort in Dubai, the Burj Khalifa, before you know he loves you. He can just give you a treat in Abuja, and the love is still there.
Simply communicating what you have.
Yes. Another thing is coordination. There must be a level of coordination. And by that, you coordinate the resources at your disposal. This is not a time for wastages. You understand? Yeah. There are some persons that because of maybe you enter somewhere and they hail you, chairman, chairmo. In fact, they will not even call you chairman. Say chairmo, chair. As if you're a chair. And then you just